Ladies and gentlemen, boys and NBs, let's talk Resurgence today because we've never talked about it on the channel, but I've been having a blast with it lately. We're talking about Ashika, Vondel, Fortune's Keep, and Rebirth Island is coming. There's also the smaller modes of Urzikstan. These work on all maps. I'm assuming Rebirth as well, barring any patch notes that change these guns, which I don't think these are going to get hit as they're pretty balanced all the way around. This is what I'm taking to Rebirth day one, and I may make some changes. I will bring a follow-up video if that is needed. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you can make sure to find your way back and help the channel. 95% of my viewers are not subscribed. 95%. That is insane. That means we get an average of 5,000 views per video. If I get at least half of you to subscribe, we will hit 5,000 subscribers in 1 week. That is absurd. Just like these loadouts. So with that, let's get into it, boys. So for perks, we're going to use Mountaineer, Fast Hands, Quick Fix, and High Alerts. I can go Throwing Knife or Semtex, depends on the class and how I'm feeling that day. And then of course your Smoke Grenades because they're OP. Starting with our first setup, we've got the Ram 7, and this is the gun most likely to catch a nerf this season because there is a new AR in the Battle Pass. So keep that in mind. If it gets nerfed, it may not be as good as it was, but right now this is king, so I wanted to start with it. We're going to use the integrally suppressed barrel. That's the Boreal 6C suppressed barrel. We're going to use the ultra light stock pad, the Recon comb, the 60 round drum, and then we're going to use the SP10 angled foregrip to give us a very easy to control gun that we're able to use to about 60 meters without any problems. And we've got the rounds to do it. We're flying, we're frying. This build is beautiful. If you do want an optic, I would drop the comb, throw your optic on, but I don't really need one. I don't think you do. The irons are beautiful on this gun. And I'm personally pairing that with the AMR9 right now. Again, a gun most likely to get a nerf, but probably not until mid-season when they bring us the MP9. I forget what they're calling it in game, but the AMR is top tier, S tier, whatever you want to call it, of the SMG category. Best in class, in my opinion. For this build, we're going to use the Shadow Strike suppressor, or you can use the Zahim, I think it's called, flash hider. Either one works perfect. You need a little more recoil control, go to the Zahim, but I like having the ADS speed. Then throw on the Regal Pro barrel for that shortened barrel, but we're not hurting our recoil too much there. The Demo D50 buffer tube makes it to where this thing absolutely flies. And the gun doesn't have any recoil to start with, so you're gonna have just a little bit with the build. That's no problem. Phantom grip to finish out with the 50 round mag. You can go to the 100, but you're gonna go slower. Again, if you do want an optic, I would drop the Phantom grip and throw the optic on. The irons are a little rough here, but you shouldn't be fighting outside of 20 meters with this gun. Next up, we've got the SOA Subverter. This is one made for Vondel, Rebirth, and Fortunes. All of your small maps. It gets the job done because it's got the bullet velocity to hit the shots, and it has a very manageable recoil pattern. For this, we're going to use the Zahim compensated flash hider. Then we're going to add the Fervor 7.62 short barrel with the high velocity ammo to make up for our lost velocity. We're then going to throw on the 50 drums. It's the largest option we have. Then we're going to use the Quarters Classic Reflex or optic of your choice. I know a lot of people like this optic, and I am one of them. This gun absolutely slaps with this build. It is so stable. It is insane. They might nerf this one too, but I doubt it because not a lot of people are using it. And then I'm pairing that with the Ram 9, which is the only gun that can really compete with that AMR 9 on a 1-to-1 level. And again, we're going to start with the Zahim compensated flash hider. It's a fully unsuppressed class, boys. Go loud, be proud about it. But then going to throw on the ultralight stock pad with the Recon comb to maximize movement. With the DR6 hand stop, we are flying and frying. This is the fastest SMG in the group, and I'm running the 50 round mag because that is the option we have. This thing absolutely slaps. Give it a shot if you haven't already. If you haven't used this build, give it a shot. It's super easy to control, and you're gonna slap everyone. Next up, we've got the Kilo of Modern Warfare 3 because it is so easy to use. That's the MTZ 556. This thing hits very, very hard for a 556 rifle and has almost zero recoil. Very similar to the SOA Subverter build. However, we're using the Sonic Suppressor to up our range and our velocity with the high velocity ammunition in the 50 round drum. It's the largest option we have. You may find the 50 rounds isn't enough. I don't have that problem, but just keep in mind this isn't a 60 rounder, so you're going to be reloading a little more than with the others. We're going to use the MTZ VLOL 3568 barrel. This is the short barrel option, just like the Subverter had, so we can get a little bit of our ADS and move speed back. And I use the Corio REX Pro. This is a time 5.5, 1.5 times zoom optic. This lets me see a little bit clearer at those longer ranges, as you can shoot cross map entirely with this gun. This thing is awesome. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and the overall community seems to have found this and they're liking it too. So give it a shot. Hopefully it gets a buff, because it's right there at the A tier. This thing could go S tier next season. We will see. And then I'm pairing that with another max movement gun with a WSP Swarm, because it still absolutely fries. You've got to be on top of people with this one to get the advantage. It doesn't have the range that the AMR does, but it does hit like a truck. For this, Shadow Strike suppressor with the DR6 hand stop, but then I'm going to throw on the Marauder grip and the Fortress heavy stock to get the recoil control this silly gun needs, because it will be all over the place if you don't. Then we're going to throw in the 50 round magazine, or the 100 if you like balls on your gun, but I got the balls on me, so the 50 is more than enough for me. Next up, we've got what I think this is my favorite. I'm just attached to this. So it's the BAS Bravo. This build is great. This thing has a little recoil and it's great to long ranges. You can swap out for the glassless optic instead of the intless CAS 14, or you could use the other intless that's the 4 times zoom if you want to. But for this build, we're going to use the intless CAS 14. Then we're going to use the Bruin Werven short barrel, which is the 9-inch version. We're going to use the Spirit Fire suppressor for our stability and some recoil control, the ST88 grip to get even more recoil control. Then we're going to throw in the 45 round mag, because it's the only option we have. This gun fires a bit slower than the MTZ 556, so that 45 round mag isn't a big deterrent like the MTZ has with the 50, but remember, it is a 45 round mag. This gun still feels incredible after, I believe, 3 nerfs. I don't think they'll nerf this one anymore, and it hits like a truck still. And then I'm pairing that with the HRM9, because the HRM9 is still a demon. Again, I don't think they'll nerf this one because they've nerfed it already. And we're going to throw on the Tacturn 7 suppressed barrel with the VLK 7 milliwatt laser, so we can get that suppression, we can get that recoil control, and then we can offset our ADS penalty with the laser. We then throw on the Hatchet light stock to get even faster movement, aim down sight, and sprint to fire. We use the DR6 hand stop for the same reason, and then we throw on the 50 round drum because it's the largest option we have. This loadout is wonderful. I know I said you can mix and match, but these two together, it just feels perfect. They are great, and this is probably what I will drop into Rebirth with for the first time. And boys, you know, on every list there's a DMR, and the only DMR I'm using currently is the MCW 6.8. Now, I will say that there are other options that are very viable, like the EBR, the LMS, and the Interceptor are all fire right now, but the MCW 6.8 is hit scan, and I'm not kidding when I say that. This has like a 1600 meter per second bullet velocity with this setup. I'm using the Corio ELT 10 2.5 times because we're on the small map and I don't need a lot of zoom here. You can go up to the Heinrichter or the AOK 4 times if you want. We're using the Huntsman Series R integrated suppressed barrel to suppress our gun but also get velocity out of it. We're then throwing on the shark fin to get that stability that we need to hit the shots steadily at long range. This gun has no recoil, so don't worry about that. We're using the Spire Point rounds to maximize our velocity because they add like 48% to our velocity. We also gain some of our range there, and then the 30 round mag is more than enough for me. You can throw on the 50 if you want, but the 30 is a must. This thing slaps. You can wipe a whole squad with the 30 without reloading with absolute ease. And then since the MCW 6.8 is running on sniper rounds, I'm pairing this with an AR, and I'm running last year's best in category sniper support gun, and that is the Tempest Razorback. The Razorback is still an absolute demon in close quarters and the mid-range. For this build, we're going to use the Spirit Fire suppressor with a 13-inch Frenzy 9 barrel. The Frenzy 9 has a built-in optic, so you get 6 attachments on this gun by running this setup. You're still going to be hitting almost 900 meters per second bullet velocity, so you can push out to that 70 or 80 meter range if you want to. We're going to use the SP10 angled foregrip, the 60 round mag full of high velocity. This gun has very little recoil and almost no gun kick. This is one of the best Modern Warfare 2 guns to be in the game currently, and it is still S tier for sniper support. And then, all right, here's the sniper I'm using in Resurgence, and that is the Stalker, as always. You guys know I'm not a cat fan. However, with this Stalker build, you've got 100 meters of one-shot capability. I think that's all you're needing in Resurgence. I've never had a problem. We're going to use the XRK Stoic 4 suppressed barrel and the FSS OLAV laser to get stability, to get suppression, to get everything right where we want it on the front end. I'm using the Heinrichter, so I still have the ability to zoom zoom in, those fine shots at longer ranges, the XRK Stalker Light Bolt so we can get that follow-up shot if needed as fast as possible, and then of course the Spire Point rounds to push our range and our velocity. This gun is still absolutely incredible. We did drop the Eurolem stock for the Light Bolt here, but it is absolutely worth it on this map. It's a quick scoper's dream, and I'm not a fan of the stockless build. I just feel like I'm on a boat when I'm using it, and I'd much rather have a gun where I make sure I hit every shot. I'm pairing that with the SVA, and I know you're like, whoa, what is that? Well, there's actually two ways to build this one out. With the SVA, you can go loud and get more recoil control, more stability to fight out to about 45-50 meters in every engagement if you want, and that's using the Endless 30 compensator with the Warpig short barrel, the DR6 hand stop, and the no stop. Now, I use the 45 round mag because I don't see a need for that 60 casket mag, but if you want to put the casket mag on, you are more than welcome. Just remember, you will move slower with more ammo on the gun. And that said, if you do want to suppress the gun, drop the compensator and swap to the integrally suppressed barrel and throw on the SP10 angled grip with the no light C3 rear grip to get all of your stats back. This is slightly slower on the ADS, and it has just a little bit more recoil than the other build. They're pretty similar. You're not really going to feel a difference, honestly. I just prefer the other one because it feels better, but if suppression is a must, try this one. This SVA no stock build is absolutely S tier and no one's using it. Remember, when you pull the trigger on the SVA, whether it's in full auto or in semi-auto, it fires 2 bullets at once. You're immediately hitting 2 shots the second you fire. The SVA is going to absolutely dominate Season 3 in my opinion, and this build is one that you should hold on to. Alright boys, that's going to do it for me. I just gave you 6 full loadouts, 12 guns, your perks, your lethals, your tacticals, everything that you need for Resurgence as we prepare to go to Rebirth Island for the first time in years. I'll catch you guys on Rebirth Island next week, or anywhere from Al Mazrah to Urzikstan in the meantime. That's gonna do it for me. Until next time, boys, leave me alone.
Be the biggest in the world.